Okay, so we're going to take a look at a concept for learning and development. So you'll notice I've got principles, which I use the word principle more for the actual principles of the Wing Chun system. So the different guidelines or pillars of development and skill in Wing Chun. And then we have concepts, which is more so about the kind of learning process. So how to learn in a better and deeper way. Now, the concept I'd like us to kind of discuss now is slowness, or training slow. Now, why is this important? Well, firstly, if you look at the actual Siu Lim Tao form and the way it has been taught down through the generations, is that it's practiced slowly, right? It's not like you're shadow boxing or using a speedball or you're kicking and punching really fast. It's done slowly in a focused and relaxed way. And even the name suggests that there's another layer to it, meaning Siu Lim Tao. It's more related to the mind, a small thought or little idea. Now, slow training. The benefit of slow training is that it embeds it deeper into your system, meaning your body, your mind, and its energy, than fast training, in the sense that you have to be conscious and aware of every micro, tiny movement, every little tension within your body. So you've noticed that in a few of the videos I'll say start off slow, and it's easier to get the movement to look and feel correct done slowly than it is to just throw your limb out there, right? Because then you're not even sure if you're doing it correctly, and you're not even sure if, hey, are your muscles tensing up? Are you connected in your system? Are you centered? Are you feeling your structure? So on and so forth. So slow training helps your development in the sense that it helps you to really be conscious of what you're doing moment to moment. So now let's look at something more practical. So there's a book actually, and if you're interested in actual developing your skill quickly, you should check it out. It's called The Science of Rapid Skill Acquisition. I can't remember who wrote it, but check it out if you Google it, Science of Rapid Skill Acquisition. Now they actually have studies on all the different ways it helps you to learn a skill quicker, rapid skill acquisition. And one of the primary concepts was slow training. They had this music school, I can't remember the name of it, but they were taught to practice slowly, for example, the violin. So they would practice one note so slowly so that they gained fine motor control from the beginning of the movement all the way through to the end. So my right hand's actually moving up, some of you might not notice, but you'll see it over time, and they'd practice it slowly in order to be able to get that fine, deep control of each movement, as opposed to just going really fast from the get. Now, of course, this requires a level of patience, right? And what they'd even do in this school is that they had a rule that if you were playing a song and one of the teachers walked past and they could pick what song it was, then you were practicing too fast. So that's an example of it being applied in another system, in another art, so to speak, music. Now, the same applies in our Wing Chun practice. I'd suggest, look, at first you just want to get the sequence and the shapes right with the form. We take that as an example. But once you get the sequence and the shapes down packed, and you've got a good idea of what the state is, so how you should be feeling mentally, emotionally, and energetically, then practicing really slowly is a major benefit. Because as you move your arm nice and slow, you can notice, where is my concentration? Am I centered? Is there any parts of my muscular system which is tensing right now that I can start to release out through centering in my intention and sinking through my body? So slow, concentrated practice is a fantastic concept to grasp and play around with. Now, my master, Grandmaster Choi Shung Tin, he was renowned for his Siu Lim Tao practice. He was actually named the King of Siu Lim Tao by Ip Man because he reached a level beyond Ip Man's level. Now, in the skill of Siu Lim Tao, essentially in power generation. And one of the things about Sigung's training is that he practiced the Siu Lim Tao a lot, and he practiced it slowly. He wasn't rushing through it, he was patiently practicing it day and night to cultivate the power of the Siu Lim Tao into his Wing Chun. So, slow practice. You can do it with any of the movements of Wing Chun, you know, with your Bong Sao, Tan Sao, Fuk Sao, practicing anything. Or even if you're just moving and stepping, you can practice slowly to start to bring the state into your movements. Now, this leads into another topic. It's the state is the internal power. Centering in your intention, sensing, syncing and releasing, connecting, and then using the mind and the energy to lead the movements as opposed to the physical body. So slow movement is extremely useful for bringing the state into those movements. So you can imagine if I'm just flicking my arms around as fast as I can, I'm not going to be able to consciously bring the state into them, right? Initially, right? But as you progress through the system, you do speed it up. So the actual system's designed that way. Sil Lim Tao, the first form, Chum Q, the second form, are practiced slowly so that you can really build the state and the internal power into yourself, into the system, into yourself. And then Bill G is practiced fast. That's when you actually bring speed into it so that you can start to bring the power out in a dynamic kind of fighting style application. So slow movement. It's super important. Don't devalue or discredit it. If you are into the internal arts, then most of the time you'll have a patience for that type of training as well. So I hope you found that useful. Start to play around with it in your training, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video.